Hi everyone. This is just going to be a brief video about how to incorporate sources. So for this assignment, one of the requirements is you incorporate one outside source into your paper. So in addition to your primary source, which for this paper, where you'll get your evidence from is the film. That we viewed. The secondary source, so what's called the secondary source, is somebody else writing about the film. So for this paper, you can also use somebody else writing about history or Native American history if you think that it will inform your understanding or argument that you're making about the film. But typically, you'll probably use a source of somebody talking about or somebody writing about the film. So basically, I'm not really, the idea behind this is just to get you guys to have some practice incorporating sources because that's going to be really important for the next paper, which will begin next week. So that's a really important aspect of the research paper, but this is just kind of for some practice. So the stakes aren't really high, but it's really important to be able to have the tools of using sources and other people's arguments, as we'll kind of learn about. And as is discussed in They Say, I Say, which you read for today or Tuesday. So basically, incorporating the sources, you can kind of, for this one, you can incorporate anything you want. For the research paper, it's going to need to be more academic, kind of scholarly sources. But for this paper, you can incorporate or use or refer to one source that can be pretty much anything. So okay, so what does that mean? I'm going to share my screen now, and I'll kind of give you a brief overview of how to do that, what to look for, what some options are, um, and how to cite a source if you haven't done that before. Okay, so I'm going to share my desktop. Okay, so all right, so the easiest way to do that, or one of the easiest ways, would be to okay. So one of the easiest ways would be to search smoke signals in Google. So you can search smoke signals, and then you should be able to find some reviews. So you can look at, there's an article, there's a review by on Roger Ebert's website. There's a review on the effect that it had, the impact that it had 25 years later. So there's a whole bunch of things that you can find online about people writing about smoke signals. And then you'll read that, you'll see what they think, you'll kind of compare it or balance it with your own argument, and just include like a paraphrase or a summary or a quote of something from that article. It doesn't have to be extensive, it can just be a short sentence, or you can just say something like, this person says, while this person says X, I think Y, or you can use it to strengthen your own argument. You could say, this movie means this, and then you can say something like, as referred to by this person, this means this, and something like that. So just include it in some way to strengthen your argument, or to give you like something that sets up your argument in a way that someone else doesn't. And so there's a lot of resources, a lot of people write about movies, so there should be tons of stuff on that. If you do want to get into more academic or scholarly sources, which we're going to have to use, so it'd be really good if you were familiar with how to use a scholarly source, how to look for it. I'll just give a brief overview of that. So for the course, in the course Canvas page, I've added a link to the Valencia Library online website. It's a really, really useful source, and I really encourage all of you to just explore the resource. There's a ton of stuff that you can find and browse, books and anything you want. It's free. And so you can just click on the link. So you just click on the library link, and then you launch the library website. And then that pops up. And so you can just search smoke signals. So yeah, so just search the movie. And then you'll get a whole bunch of resources that'll come up. So there's things from newspapers. There's a book, an academic book. There should be academic articles. If you look at, oh, I didn't put an S. Okay. So sometimes make sure it's spelled right and everything like that. And sometimes if a lot of stuff doesn't come up, you can use quotation marks, so that'll make it search only for those two words together. And then you can also kind of limit your search. So you can click news over here, and that'll give you the articles from newspapers. And or magazines, academic journals, but you should also just be able to find a bunch of stuff on the main page. So, for instance, here's an article: Contemporary American Indian Life in the Owl Song and Smoke Signals. There's an interview with the writer of the screenplay, Sherman Alexie. So any of this stuff is completely fine. You can use all of it. So when you see it, you see something you like, click full text, pop up. You should be able to view the record in the actual journal. You can get a PDF. Just kind of any format that you want. And also, this is really important. So I'm going to show you how to cite sources, how to use the Purdue OWL, which I've talked about before, to find out how to cite a source, like a film, for instance, or a magazine or anything like that, in your works cited page. So it's really important that for this paper, everyone have a works cited page, because you're going to be citing the film, which you're referring to, and then you're also going to be citing an article. So the website makes it really easy. So if you click on Cite, you can click on Cite, and then scroll down, and it'll give you the MLA works cited entry for this specific article. So all you have to do is create a works cited page. It goes at the end of your essay, and then you copy this and just paste it. So it makes it really, really easy. Okay, what else? Let's see. Okay, so there's a book too that is really interesting. So if you want to open an ebook, you can just click here, just follow it, follow the link. So click it, and then it'll just pop up. Click read online, and it will just give you the whole book. So you can browse it that way. You can download it, print parts of it, which is what I like to do. But yeah, so that'll give you the whole thing right there. And then for the citation, it'll tell you what the citation is. So you click this button right here with the quotes in it, and you just cut and paste that. it's good to know how to use those kind of like those tools, but it's also important to know how to cite sources if they're not available. So basically, there's a link in this page that'll take you to the Purdue OWL. So this is a really important website. I've talked about it before. It'll tell you how to cite anything. So for instance, so you click on the link, scroll down, um, how to cite electronic sources. So most of the online magazines and newspapers and all that stuff will be is obviously an electronic source, and then it'll just give you kind of a format. So author, title. If it's in a book, you put that, and it'll give you a bunch of examples. There's also how to say other common sources. So there'll be a film, an example of film, an interview, and basically just take the format and plug in your information. Let's see. There's definitely a film here somewhere. Okay, so yeah, film. So for smoke signals, you'll put in the director. Well, there's two ways to do it. So you can put in the title of the film, or you can, if you want to focus on the director, who the director is, which you may not want to for this film, unless it matters for your paper. You can put that first. So there's two ways to do it. Just plug in the information, and you'll be fine. So then there's also a sample works cited page. So on a new page, so wherever your paper ends, on a new page, which isn't counted in the page length, you'll have a works cited page, double spaced. It'll say works cited at the top, and then you'll have your sources. So for this essay, there should be two. Whatever source you chose to put into your paper, and then the film. So I'm not going to really spend a lot of time, like I'm not really gonna grade too hard on how you incorporated the source. We're going to go over all of that in the research paper extensively. But for this is just basically kind of getting your feet wet if you've never done it before, getting practice on using sources, finding sources, incorporating sources. But we'll do a way more of actually incorporating and how to strategize effectively, the use of sources. But yeah, for this one, just find a source, put it in your paper, and have a correct works cited page. That's it.